schools.com. A separate seating area has been set aside for the press and public who are in attendance at the meeting in accordance with social distancing guidelines as provided by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And so we're going to move down to Section 2, approval of the agenda. And we do have some changes under committee and staff reports. Deleted item 7.6, Boeing Corporation grant to Okaloosa Public Schools Foundation and CTE. And then under Superintendent's Human Resource Recommendations, deleted item 9.8, employee termination. Deleted item 9.9, employee termination. With that being said, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved, Chairman.
Mr. Destin makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. White. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Savanchek, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Destin, how do you vote?
Yes.
I vote yes. The motion carries 5-0. So we're now down to recognition, Section 3.1, Proclamation of Educational Support Professional Day, presented by Mr. Chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. And right now, in the spirit of social distancing, I'm just going to stay right here if that's fine.
Okay.
All right. And we do have a proclamation for our ed support folks. But I do want to say just before that, I think if all of us know when we think about our support professionals, they are amongst the backbone of this school district. And you think about our ed support professionals, the first to greet students in the morning when they arrive on the bus. You think about our front office staff that is not only working with our parents, working with the community, but working with our teachers and students. You think about the cafeteria workers and what they do on a daily basis, our paraprofessionals and what they do with our students and our teachers, and of course there's so many more. You think about our maintenance staff, custodians, and what they do selflessly each day, and there are so many, from media assistants and so forth. But especially, I think this year, this is even more appropriate when you think about COVID and the impact that it's had on our school district and the impact that these individuals have each and every day on our students, our teachers, staff, and families. If there was ever a year to commend our employees, this would be the year. And of course, we know that we appreciate them every year, but this year especially, I think it's appropriate to even give more thanks and more appreciation for what they do. And I want to read this proclamation, and it's Ed Support Professionals Day. Whereas public schools are the backbone of our democracy, providing young people with the tools they need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, and equality. And whereas educational support professionals are an integral part of the education process. Whereas education support professionals work tirelessly to serve our children and communities with care and professionalism. Whereas on a daily basis, our education support professionals take great pride in using their numerous skills, which are rooted in human relations, communications, verbal presentations, technical knowledge, use of resources, and positive personality traits. And whereas the educational support professionals in our school district are to be commended for the professional manner in which they perform their duties, they put forth effort individually and collectively to assure that our educational system will continue to have prosperity and success. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Okaloosa County, Florida, does hereby recognize and proclaim November 18th, 2020 as National Education Support Professionals Day, and urges all employees in the entire community to join in the observance by expressing grateful appreciation to the education support professionals for their commitment and dedication to the school system. Adopted this 9th day of November, 2020. Mr. Strong's gonna.
Oh, hold on.
Go ahead.
We have to vote on this. I'm sorry. That was my fault. So with that being said, I need a motion to approve this.
I move to approve, Chairman.
Mr. Destin, I need
I'll
a second.
second.
Dr. Kelly. So with all that being said, Ms. Vanchek, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly?
Yes.
Dr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Destin?
Yes.
I vote yes, it's unanimous.
Thank y'all so much. I had a few comments, but Marcus stole them all, and more appropriately coming from him, I appreciate that. I'll just say the 18th is Hugging ESP Day. Just wear your mask. Don't stay there for 15 minutes, but we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Did you want to?
I think we'll do a picture.
Sir?
I think we'll do a picture, and if maybe we stand and
Yeah.
maybe kind of gather around here a little bit.
If there's any support people that want to come up and,
Stand here.
yeah, I think, or we, I think
Yeah,
Debbie
you
will
can
tell
come on
us.
down. You're out of the,
Yeah.
I'm fine. Just don't block me.
Got to kneel down, right?
Wait a minute. Politicians don't do
Perfect, and then if the school board members will just find a gap where you can see me.
I see.
You got to be able to see Debbie.
We can see you.
Are we missing somebody?
No. He said smile.
All right, I'm gonna take a bunch, because invariably somebody's gonna blink. And with the mask on, it shows up. Perfect. One more. Got it, thank you.
All right, so now we're going to move to section 3.2 and recognition of school board member, the Honorable Dewey Destin. Mr. Chambers?
So I think this is a proud moment for everybody. And we do have a plaque of appreciation for Mr. Destin, and I'm sure each of us will have, words for Mr. Destin. I just want to say, my time in the school system, working alongside you, whether it was assistant superintendent or as superintendent, you've been a person of character, a person of integrity. You've been a school board member who has been extremely supportive, but also not afraid to make the tough decisions, not afraid to appropriately challenge, and I think that's what we expect in a school board member. And you've been I think a champion for our teachers, a champion for our support professionals, and someone who has really taken an interest in the capital needs of this school district and has served as a leader, and I think was very instrumental in helping us get this half-cent sales tax passed. And I just want to say, and I don't want to take up all the words for everybody, but just as an employee of this school district, and now as a superintendent of the school district, I couldn't appreciate the service that you've had and the leadership that you've had on this school board, because when you leave on this last day, we are a better school district than when you arrived, and we appreciate you. So I just want to say thank you. And I do have a plaque on behalf of myself and our school board members. So I'm going to read this for you. And it says, in grateful recognition of the dedication, achievements, and leadership of Dewey Destin, School Board Member, District 2, 2012 to 2020, admired and respected for 8 years of distinguished service to Okaloosa schools, presented with respect and highest esteem by Superintendent Marcus Chambers and the Okaloosa County School Board, November 9th, 2020. And we just appreciate everything that you've done and will continue to do for the school district. So
Well,
thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. It has been a pleasure and an honor to serve in this position with the present board and the boards that were here when I first came, and especially the staff members who I've grown to know and admire over the years. It's very bittersweet to be leaving. I am very happy, though, that we were able to have the citizens support us and pass the half cent, and of course, the folks who were instrumental in that. So I don't feel like I'm jumping off a sinking ship, which is a lot better than what it would have been. had that not passed. But I've really enjoyed the work that we've done here, and I'll miss it.
Thank you. So before we go around to school board member comments real quick, Ms. Morris, if you would, come to the front, please. Ms. Morris is our awesome principal from Edwin's Elementary School, and she would like to say a few words to Mr. Destin.
I especially want to thank you tonight for funding a big project for me before I retire at the end of the year so that I could finish it out and see it done. And we appreciate your support through our years.
Well, it was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. We can both go out on a high note, huh?
There you go.
And Mr. Vancheck, would you?
Well, Mr. Destin, when I first started seeing you on the board, I was in the classroom, and of course appreciated what you were doing for those of us in the classroom and watched what you did. You know, you and I are both, we both have the same alma mater in this district, and that's always been a nice thing. And then when I came on the board, you know, we have a great geographical position here on this board, and many times kind of saw each other like that. But I want to tell you that echoing what Mr. Chambers said, all those attributes are true. But also, I just want to know that, I want you to know that I learned a lot from you. I really was a student of you being a teacher here on the board, with me coming in new, listening to you and hearing what you had to say. So I appreciate that you really trained me on a lot of things in the 2 years that I've now been here, and I appreciate that. And you truly are a servant to the public. You really do want to do the best for the people, and you really can't ask more for that. And I wish you a lot of luck in your new servant role that you now have, and we will miss you, but I'm sure that we'll be seeing you around. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the kind words. I hope I didn't give you any bad habits.
Well, yeah, we won't worry about that.
Dr. Keller?
Oh, well, where do I start, truly? I've read often in leadership that you really don't know the measure of a man or the measure of a leader until you have a one-on-one situation that's difficult. And you come down to that critical moment of what ethical decision or what right way will we turn in that conversation. And with Mr. Destin, I had one of those situations when I was a principal and he was my board member, and turned to him, and the most remarkable thing happened. He showed up in my office and said, "Get that person on speakerphone," and we did. And he said, "And furthermore, here's my checkbook, my personal checkbook. How can I fix this for you?" And so from that moment of seeing a very critical decision time and making a solid ethical decision in the moment, you've had my utmost respect, even more than you had prior to that situation. So we did have a critical in-the-moment situation that made me see exactly what your character and your decision-making abilities are, and I couldn't be prouder than that of you. Of course, having served at Destin Middle School, we quite often educated students on the legacy of the Destin name and having the namesake middle school of the Destin family, and going back to your great-great-grandfather, Captain Leonard Destin, and we often schooled students on that and took them to the Sea Fairgrounds and the Sea Museum there in Destin, and your name and your family's name came up so many times that it was just ingrained in us to lean back into the Destin family history and mottos, and you certainly continue to make them proud and make all of us proud. So I will say that for the generations going forward, in 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, other people will occupy that seat, but no one will fill it like Dewey Destin did.
Thank you.
Dr. White?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And of course, we have kind of a little bit of a different situation in that I've been privileged and honored to know Dewey since we were both sophomores at Choctawhatchee High School 51 years ago.
Time flies.
And it's just been great serving with you on the school board. You were the most senior member when I came on board, and provided me a lot of insight. And I'm very grateful for all your help and assistance during that time, all in the sunshine, of course. But I would like to say, I think it's important to note that Mr. Destin is leaving this board by choice, in that he chose to seek another position and will be serving again the lucky residents of Destin, Florida, on the city council there at Destin. So appreciate you so much. I was sorry when you made that decision to leave the board, but I certainly understand it. And of course, I'll support you and do anything I can to help you in that new endeavor that you have. But thank you.
Well, thank you, Lamar, and we do have a unique history. I just wonder if the two of us had been able to have the conversation at 51 years ago about how we're going to serve together when we're old guys. So
No.
it is, we wouldn't have believed it, would we?
No, I don't think so, Jim.
Well, I'm getting ready to make you feel better. I'm only 52, so when they were,
Oh, you were a baby.
I was thinking about running for school board back then, you know? It's just but Mr. Destin, I too want to echo my fellow school board members' remarks. And, you know, when I ran, you were running for your second term, and we got to know each other on the campaign trail. And the one thing that really stuck out is how much I admired your character, how much you were devoted to your cause as far as on the school board. You're very knowledgeable. And me too, like Ms. Ivanchek said, I was always watching you, learning from you. And, you know, us not being educators on the school board, we had, you know, a different perspective. But the one thing that I will always admire is just your character. I mean, it was, like Dr. Kelly said, you have to make some of the tough choices, and you're not afraid to hit them head on. And for that, I know I admire you. And it's going to be different not having you on the school board, and your 2 years of working with facilities. I'll just say you got stuff done. And with the amazing team that was working with you, a lot of things got accomplished, especially with the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas safety protocols that we had to get in place, and Baker getting a new cafeteria, whatever, just all those things because of your leadership. And we're going to miss that. So thank you for your 8 years of service on the school board, and good luck with the city council.
Well, thank you all for those kind words. I leave with the satisfaction of knowing that the half-cent sales tax money will be well monitored, and that you all will do a good job in making sure that it goes toward the projects, along with superintendent, that it should go to.
So, Mr. Chambers, would you like to get a picture real quick with Mr. Destin?
All of us.
All of
if-
us
if
get.
you all may be up there, and then
Okay.
Mr. Destin and I will come down here.
Okay.
Debbie, you ready?
Perfect. Dr. White, can you come
Sure.
in on this side?
Sure. How's that?
Keep coming. That's perfect, right there.
Okay.
Awesome. There we go. Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. We'll get all situated here. So we are going to move to Section 4. We have no visitors. And Section 5, Administrative Personnel Appointments, is 5.1, Appointment of Assistant Principal 2, the 12-month to Lewis School. Mr. Chambers.
Mr. Chairman, we need to have a public hearing on a policy.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me on that. Okay, so we're going to hold off there, Mr. Chambers, on this. So let's go down to Section 17, and we have public hearing. 17.1, public hearing for adoption of revised school board policy 01-07, school board rules, presented by C. Jeffrey McInnes, school board attorney, and recommended by the superintendent for approval. Is there anybody in the public here to speak on this particular item? Okay, hearing none, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Destin makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Ms. Vancheck makes a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Ms. Vancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Destin, how do you
Yes.
vote? And I vote yes. The motion carries 5-0. So now we'll go back up to section 5. And you got
All right. So it's my honor to bring before you tonight Mr. Jordan Berry as the recommendation for the 12-month assistant principal for Lewis School. And Mr. Berry and Dr. Driver and Lewis staff right now are unfortunately not able to be here with us today, but they are here with us in spirit. I'm sure that they're watching right now. And I just have a little bit of information to share about Mr. Berry and then also share some words from Dr. Driver. Jordan Berry was born and raised in Bradenton, Florida, where he graduated from Manatee High School in 2003. After lettering in baseball, he was recruited by Central Florida Community College to play for 2 years. While at CFCC, he received his associate's degree and was named to the all-conference team for both years. Mr. Berry continued his baseball career at the University of West Florida, where he earned his bachelor's degree in history. In 2008, Mr. Berry began his teaching career at Escambia High School in Pensacola, Florida. During his time at Escambia, he taught reading, world history, U.S. history, while coaching cross country, soccer, and baseball. Mr. Berry met his amazing wife Liz in 2008, and they married in 2010. They have 2 beautiful children. In 2014, he and his wife were hired at Lewis. This gave them the opportunity to move closer to family. There, he began teaching social studies and continued his coaching career. Mr. Berry earned his master's degree in educational leadership in 2018 from the University of West Florida and was hired the following year to serve as the Dean of Students. He has served as the 10-month assistant principal at Lewis School since August of 2019. And Mr. Jordan Berry.
So with that being said, I need a motion to approve item 5.1.
I'd love to make that motion.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Dr. White. Any discussion? Hear none. Ms. Vancheck, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Destin, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, Mr. Berry.
All right, excellent. And just a couple words from Dr. Driver. He says, while unable to be in attendance to show our usual subdued support, which I
Right.
think we all know is a
that from
little
Dr.
bit of a
Driver?
joke. On behalf of the entire Lewis School family, I'm excited to welcome Jordan Berry as our new 12-month administrator. He's going to continue to improve Lewis School, and I am personally looking forward to continuing our partnership for the good of our shared Falcon family. Thank you for your support of Mr. Berry and of Lewis School. So thank you.
Again, congratulations to Mr. Berry. All right, so now we'll move down to section 6, public comment, and these are the blue cards that I have right here in my hand. Members of the public desiring to address the school board, Form MIS 5241, public input and/or discussion of agenda items. Mr. McInnes, if you would please explain the rules.
Yes, sir. Those persons addressing the board tonight will have 4 minutes to make your presentation. The board's procedures ask that you comment directly to the board chairman and direct your comments there. And we will keep time for you and give you a 15-second warning when that time's about to expire.
Thank you. And Mr. McInnes, you will let me know when it is the time limit, correct? Okay, so our first speaker is Keisha Thomas. Deputy Christmas, if we can have her come in. Keisha Thomas? Okay. For those that are viewing, we do have a separate area because we're limiting how many people are actually in the boardroom at one time, so there will be a few second pause there as we have public come to the microphone. So. Good evening.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi, this is my first time.
It's
being
okay,
here.
and just be yourself, but if you could,
Oh.
to begin with, if you would state your name and your address for the record,
My
and
name
you'll
is
have 4
Keisha
minutes.
Thomas. I live at 131 Gail LaRue in Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
All right.
Okay. I've never done this, but I'm a part of Okaloosa County Schools. I've been a proud teacher for the past 17 years. And about a month ago, I was flying back from California from a funeral, and somebody sent me a video of the board meeting. And in it, it was a discussion about a book that was being taught in an English class. Well, I'm that teacher. And I was a little confused at some of the comments, and so I spoke with my principal, and we talked about it and we discussed it, but I just felt like my character as a professional, and I felt was being challenged, and that I was accused of doing something that I hadn't done. And so it took a lot for me to want to come here and speak publicly about it. One of the comments that was made that there was no supplemental book that was offered, and it was, that I needed to follow a procedure that I had no knowledge of. And then after going back to the school, found out that the person who gave you guys the misinformation, it was a lie. So I'm here today to say, so that everybody can understand what my passion is, and that's education. And so I didn't prepare anything because I just wanted to speak from my heart. I've taught kids for 17 years, every walk of life. And I've been very passionate about that. I was asked by my principal over the summer to be a part of a committee because of all of the riots and things that were going on. And I offered her to read something before we had a conversation, because I just needed her to understand that because we both grew up differently, we needed to meet in the middle and be able to have a discussion. And so I was a little surprised when the parent who actually I contacted and said, hey, I want to discuss with you why I want to read this book. It's really just to see if we can debunk what she's saying. Like I teach 12th grade kids who would take a worksheet and be done with it. But in my class, you don't do that. You don't sleep, you don't take worksheets, we talk, we discuss, we think critically about things. And so I thought this was an opportunity as they began to move out into the world to be able to have a safe place to have discussions, because a lot of times kids don't have a voice. And so that was my motivation behind doing the book. And no one asked me that. In addition to that, no one cared about my professionalism as a teacher and my ability to take a subject that may be sensitive and actually have the kids be able to do Socratic seminars or just to do a lot of things. And I think that's the part that hurt me the most. I've been very loyal to this district, to the individuals, everybody. I know everybody here except for you. And I thought my character spoke to that. I feel the same way in the community. And so that's why I'm standing here today as an African-American woman, as someone who's been a teacher and been loyal to Okaloosa County for the past 17 years, just to say that there was a supplemental book, that when I made that choice for my seniors, it was so that they could go out and be critical thinkers. It was definitely aligned with all of the standards. And I just feel like the support that I needed to get through that didn't happen. It happened later. And I did have a discussion with my principal, and we've since discussed it, but it didn't happen initially. And that really, really hurt me. And I just feel that going forward, if we're gonna be supportive, we need to start in-house, because that's how I would do. I would call you on the phone and say, hey, this is the situation or
15
whatever.
seconds.
And I feel like I needed that same thing. And so at the end of the day, I just want, as Okaloosa County moves forward, that they understand the importance of this world and the things that we do. And sometimes the people who educate you, because you probably learn the most from your favorite teacher or from somebody, and to be more supportive of that. Okay?
All right.
Amen.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas.
Chairman, if I might, Ms. Thomas, I wanted to thank you for coming tonight and speaking to us. It's a joy to see a teacher who has the passion that you have and who is ready to address the tough issues. Dr. Lamar and I had a teacher like that in high school.
More than one.
Who taught,
15
who
years ago.
taught current affairs and was always pushing the limits and was always had someone not happy with him. But I'm going to tell you, out of the teachers I've had, he's one of the ones I remember. And it appears to me that you're that kind of teacher, and I understand that you were working with your principal to come up with a curriculum to address the issues that you think need to be addressed. And honestly, I know that the the students are ready to talk about them, because everyone that I've ever spoken to in that age group wanted to have an open and free debate about the issues that were important in our times. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Destin.
Right. And before you walk off, I would just like to comment just real quick, and I'm sorry that you felt that way. I honestly felt that the people that were at Ms. Heck and I know Mr. Chambers, I really thought that we presented that you were an outstanding teacher, and that we appreciate that. I think Ms. Ivanchek even made some comments about that. So I'm truly sorry if you felt that way, but I felt like we were that the words that I was hearing was very supportive of you. I think it was more of the other side of that issue and that. So, but it does take a lot of courage for you to come up here tonight, and we do appreciate that. But know that we do truly appreciate you and all of your service that you have given to the Okaloosa Public Schools.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sam Smith.
You get flying erasers.
Erasers. All right, so our second speaker will be Dr. Seaton.
Next door.
Yeah,
How many do we have?
we got 3.
3 more?
Yeah.
You know what? They opened up a knitting place, his wife and Destin.
And I'm living in their house.
Are you really?
I bought his house.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Good evening, Dr. Seaton. If you would, please come to the podium.
Yes, sir.
And I know you've been here before, and we appreciate you coming back. If you would, please, for the record, state your name and your address, and you'll have 4 minutes to speak to the board.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you. Dr. Gregory Seaton, P.O. Box 728, Marietta, Florida, 32569. I love the fact that this meeting started off in these acknowledgments that were grounded in sort of core educational values and principles. I heard democracy. I heard civility. I heard conversation when referring to Mr. Destin, integrity. And I want to encourage our leadership, you all, to sort of recapture some of those issues around this particular point around this book. One, if I framed it as 3 R's. First R is recognize. Recognize that the process that was alluded to was virtually non-existent. How can you complete a form that didn't exist until literally 3 weeks ago? So I'm not sure if you understand process, but in order for you to complete a process to get approval for something, the forms, procedures, the hurdles, the red tape have to be in place. They weren't. In terms of process and policy, if it is a process, it has to be some type of uniformity to it, meaning that if I have to do it, you have to do it, she has to do it. I'm not a lawyer, but I understand policy and process. It applies to everyone. Clearly, in terms of book approval, the process was not universally applied. So let's recognize that. The second R is reconcile. I think reconciliation in terms of you have amazing teachers, but you say, hey, we're not going to do this because of a process, but the process is shaky at best. So in one sense, you're saying, hey, don't do that, but follow this process. But what was not clear last board meeting, but which is clearer this board meeting, is that Ms. Thomas worked with her principal over the summer on this very book. Process? That did not come across in the last meeting. It seemed as if this book was a surprise. It wasn't. So I think some type of apology or reconciliation is needed. The third R is recommitment. Whether I don't question the commitment of any of you here around issues of equity and equality, but as you all know, that there are two worlds, one that actually is and the one that is perceived. Which one matters the most? The perception. So we need some recommitment around, hey, these issues are important. This is our agenda. This is what we plan to do. And it has to go beyond, it's bigger than this book. And for us to be situated in this area where tactical cohesion, where you take people from all over the U.S. and say, we want you to align on this particular mission. Diversity is a key discussion point. This construct, concept, idea is not going anywhere. It is woven into the very foundation
15
of our
seconds.
nation and education. Embrace it, recommit, be clear about what the agenda is. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. And our final blue card of the night, let me put my glasses on, is Misty, I tried this before, but I didn't get it right, Schneinwind. I'm sure she'll correct me. Good evening. If you would, please approach the podium. I tried to pronounce your name, but I know I butchered it like. So
You're
if you-
forgiven for
If
that.
you would, please state your name and address
Misty-
for the record.
Yeah, Misty Schneidman, 105 Oakwood Circle,
you're right.
Niceville, Florida. I had something prepared, and I'm going to get to that in a minute, but first I feel like I need to say something. Keisha was absolutely entitled to feel discredited and say everything that she stood up here and said. Although at the last school board meeting, it was made clear that you felt, the board felt, and Mr. Chambers felt that she was a good teacher. You also stood up here and said that she failed to follow a protocol that didn't exist. And then you brought the principal of a school up here, and she stood at this podium where I'm standing right now and told lies. She lied about a protocol that Keisha failed to follow when that protocol never existed. And no proof ever, despite the number of emails I have sent to school board members, to Mr. Chambers, to that principal, no proof ever has been submitted that that policy, procedure, whatever the right word is, existed prior to when she stood up here and said that it did. So I needed to just say that. But what I came up here to say tonight was, I actually want to read a letter that Mr. Chambers wrote earlier this year, earlier this summer. It was a letter that he wrote and posted online. It's a brilliant letter with really great ideas on how it's very important that we do have difficult conversations in our schools. So now I would like to just read that letter. Again, this is Mr. Chambers' letter that he wrote. Everyone is important or no one is important has never been more meaningful. As we reflect on the events of the past several weeks, we've seen sadness, anger, and divisiveness overwhelm our nation. Countless words have been spoken at protests, at governmental meetings, in churches, and in many other locations calling for an end to racism and the aggression that exists in our country. As a school district, our voice joins others condemning racism in all forms, but our voice is not enough. Words are not enough. Okaloosa County schools understand the profound impact it can have on students of all races and accepts the responsibility to be a leader in a community that must continue to value diversity. Our classrooms are not only places where we teach reading, writing, and arithmetic. They are also where children learn to recognize, understand, and respect their differences. To that end, we intend to redouble our efforts to provide concrete, age-appropriate opportunities for our students to better understand each other, foster empathy, and to understand how the attitudes and actions impact others. Some of the actions we plan to take this summer and next fall include creating student-led diversity councils in our schools and encouraging current student leadership groups to address important issues, reaching out to other community-based organizations for dialogue and to develop plans to support students, and continuing to work in our schools with the best school resource officer unit in the state of Florida.
who demonstrates to our students each and every day that law enforcement done right is part of the solution in Okaloosa County and not part of the problem. In Okaloosa County schools, it is our goal to ensure that all students receive the highest quality education in a safe, inclusive environment. We know that we have work to do. It will take all of us, students, parents, school, and community, working together to ensure Okaloosa County serves as a model for racial equality. Our goal would be to continue forward with a message of hope and resolve that we can
15
and will
seconds.
do better. We will be better and live better together. My question tonight is simple. These are my words again. My question tonight is simple. What specific steps have been put in place to make diversity councils that Mr. Chambers talked about a reality? And what community groups have been reached out to, and what was their response?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so now we'll move down to Section 7, Committee and Staff Reports, and this was for the workshop only. And now we're down to Section 8, Consent Agenda. 8.1, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved, Chairman.
Mr. Destin makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Dr. White. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Evanchek, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Destin, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion carries 5-0. So let's move down to Section 9, Superintendent's Human Resource Recommendations, and 9.1 and 9.2 are information only. 9.3 is cleared certification requirements and issuance of contracts for the 2020-2021 school year. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Ms. Evanchek makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Dr. Kelly makes a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Evanchek, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Destin, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion carries 5-0. 9.4 out-of-field reports for the 2020-2021 school year. I need a motion to approve.
So moved, Chairman.
Mr. Destin makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Dr. Kelly makes a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Evanchek, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Destin, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion carries 5-0. 9.5 employment separations. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Destin makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Ms. Evanchek, any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Evanchek, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Destin, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion carries 5-0. 9.6 personnel recommendations. I need a motion to approve.
Move it.
Dr. White makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Ms. Evanchek makes a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Evanchek, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Destin, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion carries 5-0. 9.7 employee transfers. I need a motion to approve.
I'll move.
Dr. Kelly makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
So Mr. Destin makes a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Evanchek, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Destin, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion carries 5-0. 9.8 was deleted, 9.9 was deleted, so 9.10 is leave without pay. I need a motion to approve.
So moved, Chairman.
Mr. Destin makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Ms. Evanchek makes a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Evanchek, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Destin, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, motion carries 5-0. 9.11, reinstatement reimbursement of sick leave due to line of duty illness, injury, medical examination. I need a motion to approve.
I'll move.
Dr. Kelly makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Destin makes a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Evanchek, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Destin, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion carries 5-0. So discussion agenda, there was nothing moved. And Section 11, construction programs owners representatives business. And Mr. Destin, you
Thank
get to
you.
make your final report, sir.
Thank you. We had an agenda. Hopefully you all got to look at it. Now that we're going to have the revenue generated by the half cent, we're going to be accelerating our security tasks, which is a good thing. And I guess that you saw we are moving forward with the stadium at Crestview. hopefully we will have our engineering report that will tell us exactly has to be done soon. The bakery kitchen is getting very close. There are some customized equipment that has been specially built for that should be here soon. The folks promised that it will be here and they will install it. So all of that's going forward quite well. We're fixing various roofs. So I will turn that over to the appropriate member at the next meeting, I suppose.
All right. Well, again, thank you, sir, for your 2 years of hard work and dedication. And
Like all the other jobs I do here, I'm riding on the coattails of the staff members who do all the work, and I just get to sit back and smile.
Yep. All right, so now we'll move to Section 12, Information Technology Seat Management Contract, and 12.1 CACI Task Order Number 2-177, Okaloosa County School District Device Distribution Depot Support. I need a motion to approve, please.
Move we approve.
Mr. Destin makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Dr. Kelly makes a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Savanchek, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. White, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Destin, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion carries 5-0. So now we're to attorney's business. Mr. McInnes.
Just to let the board know, after your adoption of that policy tonight, we'll be bringing back a schedule starting in January, how we will begin a routine rolling review and revision of all your board policies. And so we'll have that ready for you the first of the year.
All right. Thank you, sir. And now we'll move to Section 14. Mr. Chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant, school board members. I think we all know right now there is an impending storm that is out working its way into the Gulf. I think we've all watched it and monitored it, and I'm not sure anyone will be able to determine exactly where this one is going. But I do want to let the board know that we are prepared. We'll have our first announcement that will go out after the board meeting today. We'll continue to stay in contact with our schools, with our parents, as this storm continues to progress. Also, on Thursday, we gave an update to the board. We know that there were about 1,300 students who came back to the brick and mortar schools, as well as a little over 6,000 remaining. And I do want to say, as we approach the second semester, there's a likelihood that we could have more students coming back into the brick and mortar, and we will schedule appropriately. But we are also in constant communication with the Department of Education as well as to what will the second semester look like and what will the funding model look like. So we're hoping to get some word before the Thanksgiving break, which is when there's supposed to be a few meetings to discuss the second semester. Our innovative learning plan that we have right now, as we know, is guaranteed funding for the October FTE, and we're looking forward to some guidance from the state as it pertains to the February FTE, and we all know how important that is. I have spoken with individuals from the DOE about this very topic, so I feel good verbally of what has been stated, but look forward to the guidance that will be coming out. So we are monitoring that. We will be prepared to pivot any way that we would need to in the best interest of our kids. But we know that though there may be a push for more students to come back into the brick and mortar, I think we also know that there will be a number of students who might stay online. And we need to be prepared to educate those in the school building and educate those who remain online. So just wanted to give you that update there. And then just reiterating what we all said on Thursday, is this the appreciation to this community in the voting of the half-cent sales tax. Just want to reiterate, the thanking Michelle Ankers, Ted Corcoran, Vince Mayfield, and others, as well as the Fort Walton Beach, Niceville, Destin, Crestview Chambers of Commerce. And I think as Dr. White said very appropriately, all the different cities who also supported this movement. And I am proud to say that at the next board meeting, we will bring to the board the recommendations for a citizens oversight group that will come to you. I think it's very important. We've thrown around the words transparency and accountability, and we don't want to just throw them around. We want to live them, and that's exactly what we will do with this half-cent sales tax. It's a blessing, and I'm looking forward to getting started. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chambers. I'm looking over at Mr. Destin, saying good morning to you too, sir. All right, so we're down to board members' announcements and requests for information, and I'll start with Ms. Ivanchek tonight.
Thank you. I feel like I need to make a statement going back to Ms. Thomas coming here. You know, it's only been about 3 years since I was a classroom teacher as Ms. Thomas in an English classroom. And I know that what we don't want to do is to put any teacher in a position where he or she does not know what the appropriate thing to do in the classroom is. Teaching is so difficult today. I know when I was a classroom teacher as an English teacher, we had procedures if we wanted to use materials beyond what was the approved list and so forth. I'm not in the classroom now. I don't know exactly what those procedures are, but it sounds to me that if those procedures exist, they were not clearly communicated between the administration and this teacher. So we just need to be careful that we are communicating the process, make sure there's a process and that it's communicated, so that ultimately it's in the best interest of the students. We should not have a teacher put in this position or an administrator put in this position. So as we just need to work on that, and everybody should. So I'm hoping that we are looking at that and making sure that these kinds of miscommunications don't happen again. It just makes it too difficult for everyone. And like I said, teaching's difficult enough for us to have that. So thank you for that. All right. Next thing is this Wednesday is Veterans Day. And we want to remember that. I know it is a school holiday, but instead of just a day off, we certainly want to remember those individuals who've served our country and so forth. But we also have a lot of employees who are veterans who work with us, and we want to recognize them as well and tell them how much we appreciate their service, not only in the school district, but to our country. And of course, got a shout out to my Gators who won Friday night and are now going to the playoffs. Also want to congratulate Coach Combest and her Lady Gators going down to Sneads. Unfortunately, their season had to end down there on Saturday, but they've had a terrific run with their season and a great program over there. So I appreciate all that they do. So thank you.
Dr. Kelly?
Well, I would just echo some of Ms. Ivanchek's comments, in that I have always appreciated Ms. Thomas. The few interactions I've had with her with the Academic Excellence Committee and those things earlier on in both of our careers, and would certainly not want her to feel ill at ease with any of us. And I will say that I was very familiar with the process for a novel to be added to a curriculum in anyone's class, particularly language arts, as I too was an English teacher. Not so familiar with the non-novel position. So I think that is where, for me, the clarity really came in, that this, now that I've read the book, it is not a novel. So I think that's something we need to clarify in all of our discussions going forward as well. But I would just like to also echo, I said this at the Fort Walton Beach Chambers meeting, their first Friday coffee on Friday morning. When you say the word thank you, in this case for the half-cent sales tax initiative and to that committee for such a grassroots-led effort, this was just really phenomenal for them to have done that among the citizenry. And when you say the words thank you and something that was so huge a movement as this, they seem pretty hollow. But truly, when I say the words thank you tonight to all of our citizens and our chambers and our Republican clubs and all of our SACs and our parent groups that really push this thing forward for us, it seems hollow, but truly it's a thank you that will reverberate through the generations, because there are generations of students and teachers who will benefit from this initiative. So thank you again for that. And then lastly, I'll just leave you with, I was looking at the calendar today. The superintendent and I had a brief discussion about how time flies. And so it got me thinking, you know, I am a calendar person. We are only 39 days away from the end of first semester and 39 days away from the Christmas break. So we have to really get that in our mindset that we're about to be halfway done with this school year. And I might say that I'll be glad to see 2021 arrive. 2020 had its own unique challenges, and I'm very proud of all of our people who rose to the occasions to meet those challenges, whether they were parapros or teachers or parents. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. Dr. White.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, I've thought a lot about some of the discussion that's occurred this evening and has occurred in previous workshops, school board meetings, etc. And I too, long ago, was a teacher at Choctawhatchee, and my wife Connie was a teacher at Choctawhatchee, as you well know, Ms. Evanchek, in the English department, in fact. And I am aware that there were procedures in place, although I really don't know if those procedures have, you know, we've had a number of transitions over the years in these schools with leadership and principals and assistant principals and teachers and all those kinds of things. And so all of this has caused me to wonder, is this an area that the school board might ought to look at for policy? Or perhaps the board may feel that procedures might be more appropriate. But in any case, I know for a fact, I can promise you for a fact, that if it's policy, it will be communicated. And it will be communicated clearly, because we know what it meant if we didn't follow policy. But I guess I would like to look to the superintendent maybe to propose some draft language regarding the bringing in of materials into curriculum, whether those be procedures or policy. Certainly, I'm open to either, and my colleagues on the board have their own opinions and can easily outvote mine. But I think that that might be helpful and might ensure the communication of expectations in the future. So those are just my thoughts. Language, whether it be policy or procedure, superintendent, kind of leave that over there in your items, your end basket. And as far anything else I'd like to say is that Mr. Destin, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve with you on the school board, and I'll be watching you on TV when you're working with the Destin City Council, although I know some of those meetings have lasted a little bit longer.
They have indeed.
Well,
all right, but that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. White. And before I get to Mr. Destin, I'm going to go ahead and do my moment and then leave it for Mr. Destin. So I just wanted to let you know that on Thursday after the workshop, I had the opportunity to walk next door to Edge Elementary. And I was actually meeting with a teacher who had sent me an email and just wanted to answer it personally for her. But while I was there, I wanted to give a shout out to Miss Anderson, who's the assistant principal, because Dr. Dawson, who's the principal, was out sick that day. And a shout out to Miss Anderson for just her enthusiasm, her willingness. I came unannounced, and she went out of her way to show me around the school, and just had a great visit. Also want to shout out, we were talking about support, all of our substitute teachers. I had the opportunity to meet one of our substitutes over there, and Mrs. Ryan, and I will tell you that I thought she was an everyday teacher just with her enthusiasm and all, but she's a parent who is a substitute. And to all of those who are substitute teachers out there, we truly appreciate you going that extra mile. And I know we tried to sweeten the pot a little bit here last board meeting. And Dr. Hale, how are we looking with that, sir, with our substitutes now?
So as I reported Thursday, there seems to be a little bit of an increase in jobs being filled. We still have a need. Obviously, there continues to be unfilled jobs as well. But as I reported, we're averaging 10 to 15% higher fill rate each day than we were prior to you guys acknowledging the supplement for the substitutes. And also, I think you may have noticed on the agenda tonight that there's the new hire list. There's quite a bit of substitutes on there this time as well. So I believe that it is encouraging, but we'll reserve judgment as to whether or not it is a final fix. But we are very much encouraged by the supplement. We are having some trends in the right direction.
And if somebody is watching tonight and wants to substitute, tell them how they can go about doing that.
Absolutely. You can just call 833-5801 and we'll get you connected to Rachel, and she'll tell you exactly what to do to get connected to be a substitute in Okaloosa County.
And
So,
Rachel is Rachel Money, correct?
Rachel Money, that's correct.
Show us the money, right?
She's fantastic. That's right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hale. And with that, Mr. Destin.
Thank you, Chairman. On the issue of Ms. Thomas and the curriculum, every organization, private or public, occasionally stumbles on procedures and rules. The fact that we are straightening that out is the right course to be on. But more important is, I think at Mr. Chambers' direction, Ms. Thomas and the principal are attempting to work out a course that addresses the standards and uses materials that everybody can agree on to go forward with addressing the subject, which is very important to this district and was so eloquently expressed in the letter that the lady read by Superintendent Chambers. So that issue is on the right course, hopefully. I want to one more time thank Michelle Ankers and Ted Corcoran and the Chamber people. Without them, we would not have a half-cent sales tax money that the district desperately needs. And they had a hard fight on their hands, and they fought it well. And I will leave on the note that once again, it has been an honor to serve with all of you. And good luck.
All right. Okay. All right. So we are now down to section 16, public comment 16.1. And this is the 2-minute version of public comment. And if there's anybody here that is willing to address the public, and I see Mr. Mitchell is shaking his head, 0. Okay, so this meeting's adjourned. Yeah.